It was a crazy night. I think you alluded to it at the top, MK, just being honest with our listeners. I think when we were preparing this show, we didn't imagine that this was going to be such a big story because, yes, it's the derby, but it's also the Coppa Italia. It's the quarterfinals, which it's starting to mean something, but this is nowhere near the top of the priority list for either of these two clubs. And you see that in some of the team selections, some of the players that are out there. Alexander Kolarov is not someone who perhaps will be in Inter's starting 11. There's lots of examples you can pick out from these two teams. But I think what ramped things up probably already before kickoff is just that little loss of momentum that both clubs have experienced in the league lately. I think if you look at the fact that Milan, who were completely without a defeat, have now lost 2 games in the space of a couple of weeks. And then you look at the fact that Inter, despite that great win over Juventus that we were all lauding them for, have dropped points against Sampdoria, against Roma, against Udinese. There's suddenly a need to win a game, and especially a big game that you feel like, yeah, this will do something for us, it'll matter. And I think you layer on top of that some egos. I don't think, as brilliant as Zlatan and Lukaku are, I don't think either of them probably would deny that they can have a bit of ego about them sometimes. And as Mina said, a master manipulator in Ibra who loves to needle, who loves to get under someone's skin and frankly, I think thinks about how to do that even in between games, like how he's going to needle someone. It all just led to this, this boiling situation that boiled over. And I think looking at it with some distance, it's ridiculous. I think you look at Ibrahimovic and think, you're nearly 40 and you're sort of behaving a bit like a kid out there, really. But for a spectacle, it created something really unexpected, which was a midweek cup game that, again, kind of should have been the least of these clubs' priorities, but which became 100 minutes of high drama, all capped off with the last man anyone expects scoring the winner in deep into injury time.
And what a goal it was as well, a sublime free kick from Christian Eriksen. And that in itself is a story, isn't it?
It's a monumental story, and I actually was hoping that he would have some success. No one deserves it more than Christian Eriksen. He's now been at Inter for over a year, and he's gotten scraps. He's been brought in the 90th minute. This is someone who once upon a time was one of the best attacking midfielders in all of Europe. He played a pivotal part for Tottenham in the Premier League. He did really well for his nation, and now he finds himself in a situation that he's never been in. And Inter, who have been desperately trying to offload him, now realize that no one can take on his mammoth salary of €7.5 million net a season. So they were like, right, we have to figure out a way to salvage something from this guy. Let's put him in as a deep line playmaker, even though Antonio Conte said, oh, he's never going to work as a deep line playmaker. He doesn't have the characteristics. What do you know? The last 2 games, he's the deepest of the midfielders. We already saw it in the last Coppa Italia game, and we saw it today in the final minutes. So you think, right, it's another throwaway Eriksen performance until a set piece beautifully lined up for Eriksen's right foot. I had a feeling, Kay, I even had the tweet ready. I had a feeling it was going top corner. We saw this so many times from him over the course of his career. And what a way to stick it to Conte and say, yeah, you don't want to play me? You want to just throw me in garbage time? Is that what you think of me? With everything I've done in my career, let me show you. And I almost felt like Conte celebrating was almost like, oh, I have to play this guy now. I'm not going to get away with putting him in the last 60 seconds of a game. It was poetic.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.